Most people think criminals hide in dark alleys. They picture masks, guns, getaway cars, and sirens. But the truth is, the most powerful criminals don't run from the law. They write it. They don't hide in the shadows. They stand behind podiums, wear suits, smile for cameras, and speak words like justice, freedom, and the people. And that's what makes this so dangerous. Because when crime wears a uniform, we call it a threat. But when crime wears a suit, we call it leadership. Tonight, we're not going to argue politics. We're not here for left versus right. We're here for something bigger, power, and what it does to human beings. Because in politics, crime doesn't always look like crime. Sometimes it looks like a vote, a handshake, a campaign donation, a closed-door meeting, a deal. And the scariest part is this. In politics, the biggest crimes don't look illegal. They look like policy. Welcome to Episode 1. Why Politics Attracts the Biggest Criminals. In this series, we will expose how corruption works. Not through rumors, not through conspiracy, but through systems. Because whether you live in America, Europe, Asia, Africa, or anywhere on Earth, every government faces the same temptation. The temptation to use power not to serve people, but to control them. And once you understand the blueprint, you'll never look at politics the same way again. Let's start with a hard question. What is a criminal? Most of us think it's simple. Someone who breaks the law. But what happens when the people with the most power are the same people who decide what the law is? When politicians break rules, they don't always get punished. They write loopholes. They change definitions. They bury investigations. They delay trials. And sometimes, they make the crime legal. That's the heart of political crime. Political criminals don't always steal with weapons. They steal with paperwork, with laws, with policies. They don't rob individuals. They rob entire nations, one regulation at a time. So why does politics attract criminals? Because politics offers something that criminals crave, not just money, but control. And politics offers criminals 4 things that almost no other job in the world provides. 1. Access to massive money. 2. Protection from consequences. 3. Control over enforcement. 4. Power over human lives. Let's break it down. Politics is one of the only careers where you can walk in with an average paycheck and leave with extraordinary wealth. How? Donations, lobbyists, investment opportunities, book deals, speaking fees, family connections, government contracts. And here's the trick. Most of it isn't labeled as bribery. It's labeled as support, consulting, partnership, advising. It's corruption, disguised as professionalism. Imagine this. If a random person offered a judge a bag of cash, it's bribery. If they offered a politician $1 million donation, it can be called political participation. Same intent, different label. That's why politics attracts criminals. Because it gives them a way to get rich without needing a gun. In the real world, if you commit a crime, you can get fired, arrested, sued, sent to prison. But in politics, politicians have built-in shields, legal immunity in certain situations, influence over prosecutors, influence over law enforcement budgets, political allies who defend them, media machines that distract the public, and the biggest shield of all, time, delay. Politicians don't always beat charges by being innocent. They beat charges by making the process so slow and complicated that the public stops paying attention. It's like a magic trick. While everyone watches the stage, the real theft happens off camera. And by the time the truth comes out, an election has passed. The headlines have changed, and the system moves on. Criminals love environments where consequences are rare. Politics is one of the best environments on earth for that. Here's something most people don't realize. In politics, the criminal can sometimes control the police, not directly, but structurally. Politicians' influence. budgets for investigators, oversight committees, appointments of agency leaders, laws about what gets prosecuted. That means enforcement isn't always about justice. It can become about convenience. Or even worse, enforcement becomes political warfare. If the law can be applied aggressively to your enemies and gently to your friends, then law becomes a weapon. And when law becomes a weapon, criminal behavior becomes strategy. Now this is the darkest part. A street criminal might harm a few people, but a political criminal? A political criminal can harm millions. With one vote, one law, one budget decision, a politician can decide who eats, who struggles, who gets healthcare, who goes to prison, who goes to war. The scale is beyond anything a normal criminal could ever dream of. And power like that attracts a certain kind of personality, not always the loud villain. Sometimes it attracts the quiet predator, the type who smiles and speaks softly while using every opportunity to gain control. So what kind of person is attracted to power? Psychologists have long studied what's sometimes called the dark triad personality traits: narcissism, Machiavellianism, psychopathy. Now let's be clear, not every politician has these traits, but politics is a magnet for people who do. Why? Because politics offers attention, admiration, influence, status, control. And for some people, control is addictive. To them, leadership isn't service, it's dominance. They don't ask, how can I help people? They ask, how can I win? Here's where things get real. Because the most terrifying political criminals aren't the ones who break laws. They're the ones who rewrite them. They take normal corruption and turn it into legal corruption. They create systems where donation money becomes influence, influence becomes policy, policy becomes profit, and the public doesn't see it because it's written in boring language. It's hidden inside 800-page bills. It's buried inside committees. It's explained using words nobody understands. That is not an accident. Confusion is part of the strategy, because if you don't understand how it works, you can't fight it. Now, across history, everywhere in the world, we've seen patterns. Contracts awarded to friends, public funds disappear, family members given special roles, laws written with loopholes for the wealthy, insider opportunities handed to the connected. This isn't unique to one country. This is a universal temptation, because when power meets weak accountability, corruption isn't a possibility. It's a probability. In a perfect world, politicians work for the people. But in reality, many politicians work for donors, corporations, political survival, personal legacy, their own bank accounts. And here's what hurts the most. Political crime isn't a number. It's not just money. It's people. It's a mother who can't afford medicine because healthcare was turned into a money game. It's a working father who pays taxes his whole life, then realizes the rich play by different rules. It's a young adult who can't buy a home because policy favored investors over families. Political corruption doesn't just steal money, it steals futures, it steals stability, it steals faith in the system. And when people lose faith, they lose hope. That's the deepest crime of all. Not theft, but betrayal. So why do people still defend corrupt leaders? Because politics isn't just policies, it becomes identity. People feel like, if my politician is wrong, then I'm wrong. So instead of demanding accountability, they protect the leader. They excuse the behavior. They attack the critics. And corrupt politicians know this. They know if they can divide the public will fight each other, instead of fighting corruption. That is why division is so profitable, because divided people are easier to control. At this level, corruption isn't random. It's organized. It's a business model. A politician needs money to win elections, so they take money from powerful interests. Those interests want something in return. That return becomes policy. Policy creates profit. Profit funds more power. It's a cycle, a machine. And the public? The public becomes the fuel. Now this is where we make this series different, because we're not just going to complain, we're going to expose the blueprint, step by step, episode by episode. We're going to cover how legal bribery works, how lobbying became stronger than voting, How insider deals happen, how war becomes profit, how the justice system can be used as a tool, not with rumors, not with anger, with truth, with patterns, with documented reality. So let me leave you with this thought. The most dangerous criminals aren't always the ones hiding from the law. The most dangerous criminals are the ones who control it. Because when crime becomes policy, people suffer quietly, and the criminal gets applauded. But not anymore. Not in this series. Because the moment people understand the system loses power. Next episode, we expose the biggest trick in politics, how lobbying became legal bribery. And once you understand that, you'll see why so many politicians never truly work for the people. If you're ready for the truth, subscribe. Because this series is just getting started.